evening in Germany, good day in Dubai. You have the presenters not here. I begin my speak. One health is a good idea, and we have discussed something. Need we meat from cattle or cultural meat? It's an interesting thing, and in Europe and Germany too, we have some problems with heat stress. But when I came here, inside it's too cold for me, outside is hot. This is different. I think all of you say, what is good weather? No, it's not good weather. Yes, of course. Okay, we have some kettles. I give you this not. We have a lot of, you know, the European Union and you know Germany, and everybody knows how we make agriculture, and we have a lot of welfare acts and the governmental husbandry regulations. And that's why they say in summer, every kind of animal farms from the animals need shadow. Yes, why heat stress? And I will say to you, I hope you can see it, it's in Germany we have winter now, yes, we have under 0 degrees, and 1 month later we have snow. We have at 2 suckler cow herds in Germany, and the first farm, this is a Chevrolet cattle herd on the grassland in summer, it's beautiful. And the second farm is Uckermärker, it's a special German breed from the GDR, and the calf from May every year. And you know this one, it's not important what is the temperature, but it's important what's the air humidity. And both of them, these are the temperature humidity index. And when they are too high, yes, it's the red one, the cattle have stress, really stress. Not only the cattle, I'm too. Yes, but only we discuss in Germany, we need animal welfare. Yes, for teachers in the university, we don't need welfare. And this is a score like mother, and it's easy to say, no, the breath of a cattle is lower than 60. And it's decreased, everything is okay, and the higher the breath per minute, that's more stress. Yes, and you can see on the pictures, what do the animals? Yes, when I make sport, when I go 5 kilometers running, then yes, and that's why the cattle make the same, but they don't make sport, they produce meat. Yes, sometimes, and when we have heat stress in cattle of all kinds, yes, milk production is more interesting in Germany, but this is not easy to measure. Yeah? Okay, good. We have to measure it. Yes, the government say you must measure the heat stress and the breathing rate as an indicator. Yes, why everybody comes and say, no, this is not the correct make agriculture. And Switzerland, you know, it's not in the European Union, it's the country in the middle of Europe, it's not in the European Union. And they say, after 30 degrees, you need shadow and you must do some things with your cattle. I have learned in the morning that you have in Dubai, in the next years, a lot of days more with more than 40 degrees. Yes, that's great, and that's, I think this is the opinion for me too. We make the carbohydrates out, and you have the problem next year. Yeah. And this is, we have discussed it in the morning, data-driven. Digitalization, yes. I know everybody knows what they can measure. They can measure the feed intakes, they can measure the breath and so on. And I think it was a good idea to use it, to look, can this digital transformation work for us to measure some data. And this is a beautiful picture. You have sometimes the cattle go grazing, and they have resting, and they're grazing and resting. And the red line here, you know, this is the heat stress, yes, after lunch. Also after our lunch, the cattle have heat stress. You can measure it, and the system measures it all 5 minutes, yes? And what you can see, and when I go outside, I think we are staying more than this one, and when the THI is, also the temperature humidity index, drops down, the cattle have more heat stress. And what is the consequence of heat stress? They don't eat, and they became acidosis in the rumen, and so on, and the production going down. It's the same in dairy cattle like in suckler cows. This is a problem, and I asked me, can we measure it per hand? Yes, you can measure it. Yes, I say we need the days lower than 24 degrees, 25 to up to 30 degrees and more than 30 degrees. These are hot days in Germany, yeah, in the European Union. Not all in the European Union. We have Norway, that is cold, and we have Italy, it's very hot. In Germany, more than 30 degrees is hot. And you can see that the breath per minute is going down. And the cattle stand on the grassland and pump. Yes, and we can measure it. We can measure it in the first year, we can measure the same in the second year. And the question is, this is heat stress, but is it a problem for the cattle, or is this a reaction for the cattle for heat? Yes, and sometimes I remember, this is at the second farm too. The more you have the temperature humidity index, the breath per minute going down. Up. Okay. And I have make, this is the old score. Yeah? Less than 60, everything is okay. And when you have more than 120, they have a salivation. And I think it's not correct. I do simple things. I say I only measure the breath per minute and I look what the cattle do. That's why our government come and say, oh, Mr. Scholz have said more than 100 breaths per minute, it's a problem. No, it's not a problem when the cow stand normal. Yes, this cow with more than 100 breaths per minute have a problem. It's the beginning of the problem when they have the salivation begins. This I have never seen in Germany, not yet. Okay, you know some pictures of the cattle? Yes, you can see here, it's too hot, and the salivation you can see, and this cattle have say, oh, it's too hot. Yes, they stand, the crop is down, yes, and they don't eat, and they don't ruminate. Yes, this is the first sign that you can say, for this cattle it's too hot today. And the problem is when the night, like Dubai, not going down, yes, the temperature. And this one, only that you know, this is the score 1. The cattle is normal. They stand, they eat, yes, they're ruminating, everything is fine. And at the same time, you can see here with more than 13 degrees, this is the cattle, they stand like this, and these cattle, like these cattle, yes, have much more breaths per minute. But what you can see too, the breeds are different. Yes, not every cattle have heat stress at the same temperature humidity index, and not the breed have the same point where they got heat stress. Yes, and I think SMECTEX, you know, SMECTEX is a bully in the rumen. They can measure the temperature of the rumen. It's not easy to use in Germany. Why you say no, it's consequent for the animal welfare. But interesting is body temperature. Yes, when you go to the doctor, he say, oh, come on, and he measure your temperature. Yes, this is the correct way to measure heat stress. And I sit on the grassland, and a cow in front of me make defecation, and I think, why I can't measure on the grassland when they turn around, the rectal temperature. But it is not the same if I measure the rectal temperature or the fecus temperature. Yes, it was a good idea, I think, and I have measured it, and you see, yes, the correlation is very good. Yes, that's why I can measure the fecus on the grassland when they do it outside. Yes, it's a good hobby. Yes, I think it is easy to measure. Yes, and you can see this. This was my first idea in 2022, and you see when the breathing amount is going up, the temperature is going up too. And then I say in this year, or I will measure this year too. And you remember both of these lines up to 25 degrees. The breath going down, going up, but the temperature of the fecus is still the same. When you see at the temperature of 30 degrees, then they have a problem. They have a high amount of breath per minute, and the body core temperature, like the fecus temperature, is going down, going up. And this both facts too, yeah, is a problem for the cattle. So, and then the government comes, this is not important for you. What is the interest of this study? You know, heat comes from the metabolism, yes? When it's very hot, I don't eat anything, I need not much more. Yes, from the digestion and from the activity. Yes, when it's very high, you don't go running, I hope so. Yes, sometimes the guys say, well, running is important for my health. No, nobody will, or you, everybody of you will be 100 and older. I'm not. Why? No. Okay, the environment is a big factor, and the temperature and the humidity, yes, and the radiations. Yes, when I stay outside and smoke, when I go out it was very hot, and you make the radiation, and the humidity is not the same here like in Germany. And this, both of them, makes a heat load, and this heat loss, you can do some wind or air. Yes, we have sometimes very windy or the conduction or fecus or breath. This is a reaction of the cattle for heat load. When you have a heat load, you must need something to heat loss. Yes, and this is stress, and this is the adaptation, and that's why we need some ideas for our government when they go to the farms. Yes, and they say, oh, you have heat stress, you must do second, first, and so on. And this, you know it. When you go out, it's better to go with a short leggings, yeah, than without. This is the hair shedding score. Have you an idea what is when it was very hot and you stay with 2 jackets outside? This is this cattle, they have the winter coat. Yes, at the same temperature like a cattle, they have the summer coat. This is very interesting, and this is very good for breeding. Yes, we have some ideas for breeding about the shadow. And when you see here in May, it's the first time when we get the last 5 years a lot of heat. Yes, in May, it's not typical for Europe. You see here the first and the second one, and this score 1 is a summer coat. Yes, and a lot of cattle become the summer coat in July and have heat stress in May. And that's why we must discuss something. Can we change the breed? Now, what can we do for this one? And this is another idea too. Yes? Or what do you think is the production? These are the lactation curves from the suckler beef cows. Yes, you can milk suckler beef cows not on the grassland, but yes, you can put it on the barn and you can measure it. And this are the normal for suckler cows in Germany. And these are calving in November, and the second herd calving in March and April. And when it was hot in May, June, July, and August, this is the difference in the production of heat. Yes, and then we must discuss some things. We have to discuss it in the morning, the resilience between what is the production, needs the consumer, and we must change the things, we must change the game. And this one is not good in heat stress. You must calve, the suckler beef cows must calve earlier, that we have a lower problem with heat stress. Yes, maybe it's one of the most ideas. Okay, we have not time. Data-based estimate of heat stress can be calculated using a temperature humidity index or only on temperatures. It's correct. Record animals indicators where thresholds are exceeded and evaluated them operationally. Heat stress can have a negative impact on animal health and animal welfare and so on. Yeah, in pasture, during our winter season, we have no heat stress. However, estimated of the effect still needed to be developed. This is our work for the future. It would be beneficial to consider ways to reducing heat stress during the grazing period. And I asked me, in the hottest time of the day, they go not in the shadow, they stay in the middle of the grassland in the sun. Why? Our government says it's not correct. They must go to the shadow, but the cattle don't hear us and stay in the sun. This is a problem, maybe in Germany. Thank you.